Hi there, Alan Combies here, and I wanted to share with you a testimonial from a young lady named Shaena. And Shaena was actually one of the residents at Habilitat in February 2014. Uh, I visited Habilitat with Robert Smith, the creator of FasterEFT, as well as 11 other practitioners, FasterEFT practitioners. And Habilitat is a very special place. It's a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center, and they call themselves a place of change, and rightfully so. This place is amazing, and they literally teach these people how to become better human beings. And Faster EFT is has quickly become, well, not very quickly, over the past few years, has begun to become part of their process. And I was very honored to be able to volunteer my services for a couple weeks and be there and work with the residents. At any time, there's anywhere between 95 and I think 150 residents there. I think there was about 100 and 120 there when we were there. Uh, and Shaena was just one gal we worked with, and she was a severe heroin addict. Of course, she had been clean for quite some time, but when we tested her, and what we do, what Robert has been able to do in his past visits and subsequently bringing practitioners is really define what we call the FasterEFT addiction protocol. And one of the things we do is we take a look at is the drug still alive in them? And so Shaena was an interesting one because Robert had worked with her a couple trips earlier. He visits there every 6 months. And he knew right away that she was very smart. In fact, to her own admission, she thought this whole FasterEFT thing was bullshit. And so she kind of went in there thinking, this ain't going to work for me. And she had a very sort of complicated mind. In other words, she tried to outsmart the process. FasterEFT is still effective for people like that. You just have to sort of you have to be persistent. And I think what happened with Shaena is she began to see little changes over time that began to convince her that this actually was working. And I was able to sit with her with another FasterEFT practitioner. We did almost exclusively Crossfire sessions, which, if you're not familiar, FasterEFT Crossfire is the name that we give when we take two practitioners and work on one client. And essentially we sit down with them, we do a whole session but with two practitioners, so it tends to be a lot more effective, and for some of these people it was exactly what they needed, and Shaena especially. So I think she had a total of about, and I'm not certain on this, but I think it was something like 17 hours or 14 hours maybe of sessions. I think like 7 sessions she had, and each session was about 2 hours. She worked with myself and Laura, and when we worked with her, we got a lot of the addiction down. In other words, when we showed her paraphernalia, there were still some triggers. When we had her think about her drug, which was mainly heroin, she would still feel a little bit of that desire to use. And so we worked on bringing that down, and also worked on some very strong memories, memories of regret and guilt, and also fear. You know, what was going on outside? What was what was her life going to be when she got out of Habilitat? Where were the people, and things like that? So she had a lot of anxiety there, and so we tapped a lot of that stuff down. But there was still a bit of the addiction left, and she had one more session, and I guess it was hour 13 and 14 after I had seen her with Laura. And she worked again with Laura and another FasterEFT practitioner. I believe it was Deborah Redmond, I'm not positive. But Deborah had also worked with her in past sessions, past visits. Like I said, this gal had a lot of sessions, and it took every one of them to finally have her be free of the addiction. And so what you're about to see here is just a little clip. What we did was we had her sit down, and after we tested the addiction, we had her give little testimonials for each of the practitioners that had worked with her, myself included. And so you're about to see is just that one little testimonial, but I wanted to share this because this one really touched my heart. You know, this is a gal where you can see so much potential, and every resident that I worked with there was amazing and just wonderful people, wonderful human beings, and she was no exception, certainly. And I was really happy that Laura had one more session with her and had the success that they did. And like I said, she needed every one of those 14 hours of sessions. So I was really happy, and really happy to see her smile in this video and laugh. So anyway, of course, I offer FasterEFT Crossfire sessions with Jonah Robbins here in Los Angeles, California. So we have an office here, and we do Crossfire sessions as well as individual sessions. So if you're in their area or you want to know more about that, you can just go to theskillsforchange.com and find out more. So for now, let me introduce you to Shaena. And I didn't really edit much of this video. You'll see Robert speaking with her and basically saying, okay, start over, start over. But I thought that was all kind of funny, so I left it all in. All right. So anyway, here is Shaena. Thank you very much.
We got to do an Alan one now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My name is Shaena. I'm a heroin addict.
Are you really a heroin addict? Seriously?
I was at one point. I don't think I would consider myself.
I would change your name,
anymore.
really.
It's funny you say that because I never went by Shaena until I came here. I always went by my middle name, so perhaps I can go back to that whenever I finish.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Start all over. I'm sorry.
That's okay. My name is Shaena. I guess I was a heroin addict. I'm not. Yeah. I have no desire to use anymore, so I guess it's past tense now. I worked with Alan with FasterEFT doing tapping, and the thing that I remember with Alan in the session that we had was he was able to attack certain memories in ways that I really wasn't expecting. I guess the way that he would jump from like speaking in one positive way about one thing and then twist it really, really quickly. It did this thing with my mind where it confused the hell out of me, and it made it a lot easier to just be really, really open with things. And another thing that I noticed when working with him is that I don't know, he's one of the calmest people I've ever met in my life, surprisingly enough, because sometimes I would use calmness as kind of almost like a defense mechanism in like a really, really odd way, just kind of like pretend to be calm about things, but he was definitely better at it than I was, which made the session a lot more effective in the end. So that was the thing that was really, really good about working with him.
Very good. You recommend him?
I would.
Say it.
I would recommend Alan.
Good job.